Hello everyone, Headed Hamster here, and welcome back to the making of our steampunk solar system. And remember, in space, no one can hear you tick. Yeah, these intro gags are not getting any better, are they? I apologize, let's move on. Right, where did we leave off? Yes, so last time we built up the base. And actually, before we get into new things, I actually want to quickly talk about the base for a second. So it's been a few days since I last recorded, and it gave me time to think, time to just admire the progress I have done thus far, and appreciate a few things, question a few others, and you know, we are here now. So, right. So, first of all, you may notice something's missing. That's right. These, sort of, I call them crescents. I have no better name for them. These, like, semicircular white panels. There's actually 3 of them. And yeah, so 2 of them originally were on the sides here like this, and then one other one was hiding around the back like so. And yeah, frankly, I didn't really... One moment. Resuming. Alright, sorry about that. I had to take care of something. Anyway, like I was saying, yeah, so you got these little crescent things which, go around the side, and frankly, they're mostly just aesthetic, so I took them off. In fact, the side ones went over these red bars, which, over here and here, which, you know, whatever. The thing that amused me the most, the back one, it held in place by just 2 pins, and that was it, and like nothing else attached to it. It's purely aesthetic, like, yeah. So I personally, I don't know, I kind of like the open air nature of it. Allow you to see the internal gears a bit better with them removed, like especially. You can see the input crank and its gear, and then the lighting's always terrible, but yes, you can just barely make out. It's very blurry though. There we go. Yeah, you can see that 12 tooth down in the bottom there, down there. And so yeah, anyway, so yeah, long story short, I decided to just sort of remove... I cannot speak today. Whatever. So yeah, I decided to remove these crescents because, yeah, I didn't really need them, so... I like seeing the machinery, I like seeing the clockwork, and any paneling or things obstructing that, no, not happy with. Right, second thing to mention, something which is kind of clever, or, I'm not sure if I mentioned this before, I might have not, but something I realized is these little, whatchamacallit, these little, pin with balls on them, they actually active support. Like, you have to use rubber tire as your big feet to prevent sliding, but a lot of the force of the heavy weight of the machine sitting on the center will actually be resting on these 4 balls, and the outrigger legs are just there to provide friction. Which, okay, interesting design. Moving on. Something that I feel a little embarrassed that I didn't realize until more or less after I've done the previous recording, is that this is not orange. It looks orange, but it's not. this is orange. This is, I'm not sure what the official color, but it's a red orange, a very flame red orange. And yeah, it's not the standard like bright orange that is typical in LEGO sets. So, interesting. It's admittedly been a while since I played with LEGO, so that's my excuse and I'm going with it. I'm not colorblind, I swear, gods. I'm... whatever. Silly thing. Regardless what exact color name you choose to call this, I still give credit. Brilliant color matching on the stickers. And I'm using that compliment as an excuse to segue out of my own embarrassment. Moving along, right. I guess the last thing to note is the gear ratios and timing. So I've prattled on for about this topic for a while now, and it just got me curious. So I finally sat down and did the math, and funny enough, the gear ratios are both curious, but also not too complex. So it's a lot of 3-to-1 ratios. So from the main input crank, we have a 3-to-1 ratio to that top gear, which drives the center axle. You can see it rotating now. And then that goes down to drive that gear that's really hard to film, which then drives these sets of gears back here, the 8-tooth to the 36, and then a 20 to 60 turntable. And so as a result, from the center axle, we have a 3-to-1, then a 4.5-to-1, and then another 3-to-1, which, doing the math, 3 times 3 times 4.5 is 40.5 to 1. So that's a ratio of the center axle to the turntable, which, that's an interesting number. I'm genuinely curious how that plays into the rest of the mechanism. It's not one I was expecting. I'll be honest, I was expecting something maybe along the lines of 60 to 1, like a nice round number, but no, 40.5 to 1 of all things. Okay. I trust that LEGO knows what they're doing and I'm just dumb. Which seems to be a running theme of my channel lately. Running theme of my life lately. Oh god. Regardless, and then yeah, 40.5, right, so yeah, 40.5 times 3 is 121.5 to 1, which is the ratio of the input crank to the turntable, which I thought that was kind of interesting. Yeah, so, you know, make of it what you will. Oh, one other thing which I noticed, here's a funny thing, I noticed it when I opened up the second bag with the turntable in it, but I didn't want to say anything out of the fear of me looking dumb, but, you know, I mean, that cat's already out of the bag, but yeah, something I've noticed is that this turntable, and you'll never really be able to see it on camera, well, I can barely see it in real life, but it has what I'm going to call square cut teeth. It's a spur gear. The teeth you can see on the top side, it cut flat, where there's no bevel to it. Likewise, on the inverse side, like I said, you'll never actually be able to see it, not unless if I disassemble it, which I'm not. But, in editing, throw up a picture of what it looks like on the other side from earlier. Alright, so now you get an idea. Compare that with the previous turntables, which I misidentified that one as this turntable, which look almost identical. They're very similar in style and construction, but one, you'll notice that this one only has 4 slots in the top. 2 are buried, but trust me, there's only 4 of these like openings, where this one you can clearly count there's 6. But more importantly, this design, and yeah, you can see it on this design, it's got a bevel on the bottom side. It will interact with 12-tooth gears like this half gear, or 12-tooth full gears like these ones here, mounted on the side of a beam. Like if I put the gear here, ignoring these pegs, it would interact, which, yeah, that's curious. It's curious that this design of the turntable has that bevel, whereas this one does not. It's purely a spur gear, which I'm not sure why they took that feature away from this. I mean, I guess maybe you could put a chain around this now, which, sure, but I don't know. Then again, LEGO does not really do much with chain. Like, there's a handful of sets that have chain in it, but only that. Mostly motorcycle sets, so... and then the roller coaster set had a lot of chain, so there's that one, but yeah, whatever. Right, shall we crack on with things? Sure, let's see what is next. Oops. Alright. Got the book. That's a little too far. Alright. I was about here. Yes, we added the stickers. Alright. We'll need the sun. There's half of a sun. There's the other half. And then baggie number 3. Nope, that's bag 4. Here is bag 3. Alright. So let's crack on with things. Alright, so I'm just gonna set the sun aside for now. Come on, open you. Alright, so got a little bag full of lots of pins and axles and... yeah, oh yeah, of course, the toy. Yeah, 3 long in yellow. For some reason I'm like, they make them in yellow now. Oh wait, no, I've seen them in yellow before. Hell, right there, you goof. Sometimes I wonder why I brain fog so hard sometimes. I don't know. Whatever. Right, what do we have? So, a decent number of pieces. Judging by the book, it looks like we're building the main base of the arm and then the actual arm itself, but we're not building the actual tip of the arm where the sun and moon would go, which I guess makes sense. Or wait, or yeah. Wait. Oh. Okay, yeah. I presume that, but I'm wondering now why we have one of these mini turntables. Yeah, curious. This one does still have its bevel, which, yay. Even though I don't always use a bevel, it's nice to have. And they just snap in like so. Yeah, like I said, I like this mini turntable and then its bigger brother. I like that we have both of these. They're really nice pieces to have. Right. So let's get started then. Ooh. Oh, what? Oh, this is new to me. Huh. This is... Let me zoom in on it. This is a Technic pin. No friction. In yellow. Huh. Well, ain't that a thing? I've seen... Oh, sorry, I'm out of frame. I've seen them before in light gray, like bluish gray, like this. But... Right. Focus. Focus. Yeah, I've seen them in light bluish gray like this before. Ignoring the top end, but I've never seen them in yellow. That is... How interesting, how bizarre. And what is this? Okay, what the heck is this? So, it looks like a pin, a 3-long pin, and it has a stop at one end instead of a barrel in the middle? What? Okay, I've never seen this piece before. That's interesting. I'm very curious. Is that a new piece, or is it something that came out a while ago and I'm just not aware of? I do not know, but what an interesting component. Yeah. Okay, so it snaps in like so. It has no friction in the middle. It can slide freely. It cannot fall through. That prevents it from falling through. And it has a clip on one end, so not a very structural element. Like, you would not be putting a lot of tension on this piece, but yeah, very, very curious. I wonder if this will be used as a roller, or for the roller, I mean. I see we got some 8-tooth, which very cute. Yeah. I like the 8-tooth. Also, doubles as a good mace head for minifigs. And then we got the very iconic 24-tooth. Although, interesting that they're doing them in dark gray these days. I remember back in the day they used to be light gray, which, I don't know, I kind of prefer. Don't get me wrong, I like the dark bluish gray. I think it's a nice color, but I kind of like the light gray for the gears, but whatever. Anyway, let us crack on with things. Right. So yeah, starting off with the frame, and then just simply adding one of these pins in the side like so. There we go. Okay, yeah. Technically, the frames do have an orientation, although, much like the bushings for most applications, it really doesn't matter. The only real difference is, if I get the lighting, you'll see that on the inside, there's sort of, almost a mouse door shape, or mouse hole shape, where it's arched on one side, it's arched on this side, whereas it is open on this side. Not sure if you can see what I mean, but yeah. And that's mainly just due to a limitation of the molding process, that how they need to be able to get those features in while not making the mold insanely complicated. So, yeah. Anyway, carrying on. Yeah, it doesn't seem like there's all that many pieces in this bag. I could be wrong, we'll see, but yeah, it doesn't seem all that complicated. I say now. I mean, I look forward to LEGO proving me wrong. Honestly, I'd be disappointed if they did not. Oh, actually no, that's a lie, that's a lie. I've been genuinely having a lot of fun in this build thus far. Okay, so I see that goes there, and then another L beam. Speaking of parts I love, these 3x5 L beams, really nice, really useful piece. Like, they're not complicated, but I find them so handy when doing mocks and my own little Technic creations. So, yeah, definitely, well, maybe not unsung hero, but definitely a really nice companion piece to have. Very nice to have lots of. They can be very useful in many applications. Right, moving along. Here's where the turntable pops in. Alright, so... Right, I need to add a blue pin on one end. And then attach that like so. Alright, and then let's see what's next. I'm curious if this is actually going to function as a gear or merely as a turntable. Let's see. Alright, well... Oh, curious. So, oh yeah, because, right. So they want me to insert a pin... Yeah, they want me to insert a pin vertically into the turntable like this with the, like, flange towards the bottom side, leaving the top two open. And I'm like, why is that? But then I realized, oh wait, there's a pin hiding in here, so you can't push it down any farther, which... Still interesting, like... This still can hinge, and then the turntable can hinge like that. So, wondering when that will become reinforced. Let's see, 2 3-longs into this. Yeah, I still find it... I don't know, I find it a little bizarre seeing the 3-longs in yellow. I'm so used to them in light gray. Alright, through the top of that. And then we need another... Where are you? There you are. Quite a few pieces in white. There we go. And... Right, and now we need to put an axle through the center of this. So... Right, another 3-long, an axle joiner, and this simply just pops in like so. Right. And a 22. Okay. And that temporarily locks things in place. Not really permanently, but we got a gear stack now. Let's see. So moving along. Ooh. I see more gears, which makes me happy. Alright, so let's see. I need a 5-long beam, and then another one of these funny axles, and then that's retained in place by one of these clips. And then a 22. Cute. And then all of this is retained by this pin here. I'll admit, I feel very confused. Like, I mean, it's going together fairly easily, but yeah, the purpose of, like, I know what I'm doing, but the why am I doing this feels very strange. I sometimes get that in LEGO sets where I'm like, I see what you're asking of me, but Why are you asking me to do that? What's the purpose? What's the point? How? Like, what's the logic behind your design? I'm sure, you know, patience is a virtue. I'll see it in time, but yeah, it's almost one of these like fun little guessing games of like just sort of trying to wrap your head around what the design is asking of you and why it's asking of you to do it this way. And when all is revealed, you get these like brilliant little aha moments of, that's what the engineer behind the set was thinking. Bloody clever. Or in the very, very rare cases of, really? That's what they were thinking? I guess that works. But thankfully that is the exception, not the norm. Right. And so this goes together like so. Alright, well, now this gear is retained. Which, okay. Yeah, I'm gonna rotate the camera a bit. There we go. Get a bit better in frame. Right. So far so good, although so far still so confusing. A little half pushing. That just goes on like so. Okay, so as much praise as I give LEGO, one thing I will criticize them. I don't know if anyone else has this experience, probably, but I find lately a lot of these full-size bushings have been failing on me, which is very annoying. And it seems to be more consistent with the newer sets. I don't know if it's a newer formulation of plastic or the slight redesign of the mold or whatnot. Or maybe it's just bad luck and maybe it happens to all of them and I just happen to notice them on the newer sets. But yeah, I noticed that some of them in my collection have been cracking, which have been very frustrating. Like there's a few mocks I made, like LEGO Technic mocks that I noticed that there's a few cracked bushings on, and I put the mock together a while ago, but yeah, whatever. Anyway, right. Actually, fun side story. I did have a 24 tooth gear like this, where it actually cracked on me straight in half, along like the lengthwise line, where it's weakest. But instead of just simply chucking it out, I'm like, I bet I can fix that. And so yeah, I got some crazy glue or Craggle as they call it, and stuck it back together and hey, it worked. And it still functions like a gear. Hell, it still has friction in the center pin. So yeah, that worked out really well. I'm really pleased by that. And I believe I put that one in an odometer car. So I love LEGO trains, and a little project I put together. In fact, actually, I think I can find it down here. Aha! I conveniently enough have it right here. Ta-da! My odometer car. Yes, before anyone says it's not the camera, the plastic is yellow, especially this brick. I think I left the train facing the sunside window for a little too long. Oops. But yeah, so this is a little mock I made, completely full of gears, because yes, I'm obsessed. But yeah, no, this is a little odometer car. Basically, as the wheels go round, it drives this rightmost pointer, and then between every subsequent pointer is a 9:1 ratio. And yes, I know it's frustrating to work in base 9 and the whole world is base 10, so whatever. But yeah, every single pointer is a 9-to-1. Even the distance for these 2 pointers is another 9-to-1, and I'm really happy with the way, like, this uses a bunch of gears. This uses basically my whole entire stock of both 8-tooth and 24-tooth gears. Also, I have both the front and back wheels connected via drive shaft. And yeah, to fit within Lego track standards, like, so the chassis is 4 wide, meaning I only have room for 2 gears, but in order to have the stats continue, I had to have the third set of gears outside the chassis, which means, so this pointer drives a little gear down there, driving this 24-tooth, which then drives this, actually, yeah, I mentioned it earlier, they made these gears, but as a 20-tooth, that's one of them, hiding way in there, which then drives this 12-tooth, which drives another 12-tooth, driving another 20, and so these essentially cancel out, and then we get another 3-to-1, so 8-to-24 here. And actually, interesting enough, despite it being dark gray, this is one of the older 8-tooths, because it actually has to miss like really tight tolerances here. It's a little bit cheating, but yeah. Yeah, I'm really happy that I was able to get all of this together without anything grinding or rubbing together too badly, and just really happy. And then the pattern just repeats on the tops. Essentially, you have 2 layers that are symmetrical, and then they're just joined by this axle in the middle. But yeah, so that's my odometer car. Why did I bring this up again? I don't remember. But yeah, oh yeah, oh right, bushings. Yeah, I believe on that model, someone might... That's right, yeah, I believe a few bushings broke on while building that one, which, yeah, frustrating, but, you know, whatever. It is. Oh, interesting. Oh, that's... I didn't even notice these. But in the 1-to-1 scale model, they show the piece, but on a 45-degree angle, not sitting flat on the paper. Did I have these earlier? Did I just really not notice them? Surely they must. Oh yeah, they did. Apparently I am not very observant. Like, I mean, in my defense, I don't really look at the 1-to-1 scale pictures because I don't really need to. I've come accustomed to just how big Lego parts are, so... Oh yeah, here's the first reference of such a, or first like type of image of this. But yeah, so yeah, I almost never actually look at the 1-to-1 scale pictures anymore. And like I said earlier, Lego does a really good job of color coordinating, where similar size pieces usually are of different colors, which is, again, good practice. So yeah, it's funny, I just noticed that. Oh well. Alright, some 1x3s. It's curious that Technic doesn't really have very many even numbered beams. There is technically a 2 long, but there's like no 4 long, there's no 6 or 8 long beam. It's got all the odd numbers, but very few even numbers. Although the even numbers are usually reserved for the half-width beams, which, again, so, yeah, they definitely fall into that niche. So, I don't know, like I said, Technic is a bit weird sometimes with what parts they include, what parts they don't actually have. Alright. I've said this before, I'll say it again. I don't know why I'm building this. I don't... A very curious construction thus far. Alright, we'll need a 12-tooth onto an axle. Ooh, actually, one of the really neat times where you have this little lip on the back of this 12-tooth, which actually really nicely sits, like the flange of the axle sits really nicely inside a recess inside the 12-tooth. Very cute. Very nice how everything just sort of fits together like that. Right. So that fits like so. And then the 24 goes on the back side. Okay. Right. Yeah, I could be wrong, but I swear the 24 tooth had more clutch power in the past. This feels like it went on fairly easily. Like, it doesn't bite the axle very hard. Which, I can see both the pros and cons about having it kind of loose on its axle. But, whatever. Alright. Oh, you sneaky devils, you. I think I see what they're doing. Oh, interesting, okay. Why they're doing this, I'm curious, but okay. So, yeah, I'm looking ahead, like, the way they got the gearing. I'll show you once I build it, but yeah, that is interesting. Alright, so for right now, we need to get a 7-long axle in bright yellow, because it's been very festive right now with its axle colors, apparently. Right, some bushings. Oh, that goes on so easily. I guess maybe they made it have less clutch power to solve the problem of it splitting? I guess that's one way to solve it, just have less tension on the plastic. Alright. I'm making a Technic kebab. Tasty. Careful, the kebab has teeth. It may bite. And then we stick her in like so. And now we get a really interesting build where we have two of these 12-tooth bevels sort of side by side. Like, I've never seen that in a build before. Where, yeah, no, that is interesting. Well, at least not an official build. I've definitely toyed with it. Actually, no, correction. I have seen that in a build before. Actually... Oh, yeah, no, correction. Not with these gears, but I believe there was a tractor where it did a similar thing, where it had a single central gear powering two other gears, sort of like this. Yeah, that's right. But no, this, we now have a 8-tooth back here, so another 3-to-1. I'm noticing a pattern here. This set really loves its 3-to-1 ratios. And then this whole little sub-assembly plugs into this assembly here, like so. Now, what does it do? Okay, so yeah. Okay, yeah, it just. Okay, so that is in like that. Oh no, that needs to be one over. That needs to be one over. There we go. Ah, there we go. Everything fits now. Nice. Lovely jubbly. And so this rotates. Interesting. So yeah, we get a 3-to-1 reduction between these gears. And... oh, interesting. And they both... oh, interesting. So I guess this is a design to get a 3-to-1 reduction that's coaxial, and they both spin in the same direction. So this, if I spin this bottom one clockwise, the top one also spins clockwise, which, yeah, when talking about building things in the solar system, rotation direction is important. In my orrery I built, the arm that supports Minmus was a pain because a single set of gears was way too big of a ratio to actually drive, and 2 gears, or 1 set of compound gears, would have worked, but it would have rotated the wrong way. So my hand was kind of forced to have 3 sets of gears, but 2 compound axles in the middle. And it worked out in the end. I'm happy with the way the Minmus arm turned out, but yeah, interesting little design challenge because I had to work with gears alternating direction each time you have a pair. Alright, what a curious little build so far. Right. And then I see this will now add a lot of structural support, I presume. Oh, it goes on like here. And then, yep. Alright, and yeah, that's definitely stiffened things up quite a bit. I'm very curious. Alright, now we are moving on to the arm itself. So we get 15 long, which I believe is a standard, like, longest length beam. I definitely remember seeing a bunch of 15 longs in other sets, which, yeah. Alright, so 3 long pin in the end. And then, here they are. I love it! Because you only have every other hole, because there's only every other hole available, it makes counting holes for placement of parts a lot easier than when every single hole is facing the same way and you actually have to, like, count the holes. Like, here I can just look at a glance and I'm like, oh, 1 hole. 1 hole. And done. So, yeah, these are actually surprisingly easy to work with, at least building someone else's design. And then we get a lovely drive axle, 12 long or axle, which, cool. What is the longest axle Lego produce? Is it 15? I think it's 15. I could be wrong. Need to fact check that one. But yeah. Alright. I got an axe. And now I'm putting another beam on top. Come on, come on. You can do it. You can do it! I believe in you! Right, and now... I don't know, this is fairly strong on its own. Well, kinda. Pretty strong. But apparently LEGO thinks we need to have a lot more reinforcement, so... Okay, who am I to judge? I am a opinionated person. That's what I am. grab another one of dough. These go here. There we go. And then put one of these L-beams on. Bada bish, bada bosh. Cool. Alright. And we're setting it to a side again. Alright, working on another thing. Yeah, like I said, this set loves its sub-steps. My goodness. Like, it... Normally, you build one big thing. Occasionally, you do small side things. But, man, this... I need to count just how many times does it... You build a thing, and then you set it to a side to build another thing. How many sub-steps are there? My goodness. Right. Moving along, I guess. Nearly done with this bag too, which interesting. Alright. There we go. Ah, here we are. Ta-da! I love these little guys. And another one. Ah, another 12-tooth. Cool. Oh, an axle that is not brightly colored. They do exist. It's genuinely surprising to see an axle that is light gray after all of these silly, wacky colors we've seen thus far. Actually, no, that needs a bushing first. Alright. And then axle joiner. And now we have this little assembly. Well, it's a little on the stiff side. Hopefully that doesn't make a huge issue later. And then another one of these funny pin pieces. Not sure what they are called. Let's see. I need a 5 long beam. Oh no, I don't. This, oh sorry. This rotates 180 and then fits on top of this. Okay, so one that I do... Okay, so I'll admit I did look at the box. I mean, I did study the box both before it was officially released. Like, I studied the promotional images, as well as... I'm not liking how much friction there is between, or in this axle. Hopefully that either breaks in or won't be a huge issue. But yeah, so something I am aware of at least is that the arm actually has 2 axles. One driving, I believe, the sun and the moon, and then the other one driving the sun and moon? No, Earth and moon, and then the other one driving the actual tilt of the Earth, keeping it stationary relative to the stars. Which, yeah, that's an interesting little engineered challenge. You have to have a very big gear ratio, not only on the base to make the main arm sweep around once per year, but you also have to have a counter-rotating gear on the end to keep planet Earth tilted in one direction. A little design challenge I also had to solve for my orrery because of Mimis's what's it called? Inclination, where the orbit is tilted up like this, and the tilt needs to stay the same throughout the orbit. It can't be turning around. So yeah. Alright. Okay, so I was right. This funny pin is as an axle. Alright, so we build this little roller section. We put the pin in. Using another one of these like pearl gold pin connectors. Come on, there we go. There we are. Yeah, that's interesting, and that's really interesting. And yeah, so now this is basically a little roller, which is used to support the weight of the arm. And alright, so just a pin there, and then a half pin axle here. And then that just... Oh, I see, it goes on this way. Alright, like so. Alright, and then another piece like that. And then we build out another, it's another 12 long, and that just plugs right in. Come on. That in all the way. Nope. There we go. Now that's in. But yeah, that seems awfully stiff. There we go. I think that seems a little bit better, but yeah, I don't know. We'll see if that becomes an issue later on, depending on how fast this has to rotate. Like, the faster it rotates, the more losses, friction-based losses you'll accumulate. But if it has to rotate relatively slowly and you have high torque, friction becomes less of an issue. You can just power through it, and the actual energy loss in the system is relatively low. And now we attach the arm assembly on like so to... Oh, that's clever. Okay, so they intentionally left this axle kind of loose like this, and that way you can install it and then slide this back to plug in. That's interesting. I mean, they could have just simply attached another axle connector here, assembled it, and then insert the axle after the fact. That could have worked too, but still, it's cute. I like it. Oh, the turntable actually is functioning, I think. Okay, so yeah, that goes together, and it does! Oh, we actually are using the turntable's gearing. Well, would you look at that? I seriously thought that was just going to be a turntable as basically a hinge, a rotating joint. But nope. Lego actually wants to use that as a functional element. Which, okay. Plug all that in. Make sure everything's nicely attached. Yeah, no, that is some interesting gearing going on right there. And then that drives that. Very curious. And once again, we have one axles inside of axles, which, yeah, no, that is really cool. That is so cool. Can't tell I'm enjoying this a lot. Okay. Need a L beam, which goes here. There we go. Interesting. So yeah, we started with a square frame or rectangular frame on one side, and now we're building out a frame out of elements on the other side, sorta. I mean, well, no, we're still, sorry, we're still on layer 4. It's like 1, 2, 3, 4. It's like, or I guess layer 0 is here, and then 1, and then 2, and then the second one will be here, if you want to count it that way. Right. Moving along. Yes, now the frame comes into picture. And it just simply pops on. Like so. And then another one of these pins, which joins all this together. There we go. Yeah, that turns rather nicely. That is something, all right. All right, so. Oh! I just realized that's the roller. This is the bottom, and so if the entire arm is swinging, yeah. Okay, so yeah, you have these two outside pins. The arm will attach like this, meaning that as the arm swings, driven by the turntable, this will be held in place relative to this red piece, meaning that this essentially spins at the same rate as the turntable, which drives this axle. And so this lower axle must be what drives Earth to stay on the same inclination or the same tilt. Yeah, that okay, that's clever. That's brilliant. I love it. Oh, you guys. With your clever plans and solutions, you. Anyway, right. Moving along. Right, adding some pins for the end of the arm. Oh, actually, they don't go in all the way yet. And yes, now the puzzle pieces fall into place. So, first of all, I need to crank it back to its neutral spot. One other quick thing. Another modification is before there was one of these white pins right here. Basically right there. And so, yeah, the pin was just sticking out of that hole slightly by about half a stud. But the problem is the crank comes right down there, and it's like, if I'm holding on to it, sometimes I bang my finger against where that pin used to be, which was annoying, so I took it out. Wheel's still on pretty secure. You still got these two, like, 1.5 pins, and then you got the blue one. It ain't going nowhere. Anyway. Time to put the turntable back in place. Alright. And then, let's see. This goes on, like so. And that's it. Is that really it? I guess that's it so far. Yeah, it's held on friction-wise just by the friction of that one axle mounting into that one axle joiner hiding in here. But oh yeah, you get to see the gears turn. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Although I'm noticing that the roller's not really rolling. It's sliding. Oh, now it's rolling. Okay. Well, it's all just plastic on plastic, so not much friction. Not really. Right. Now we're setting aside to do another sub-assembly. Yay, I love these. Right. Okay, I'm just gonna skip ahead a bit. This is... Yeah... Okay, I'm just gonna be frank. Again, I'm gonna completely skip these crescent elements. So... I may come back and rebuild this slightly different later. Depending on how the structure is. Because right now it's asking me to put this blue pin through like that, sticking out, in anticipation that there'll probably be, oh yeah, there'll be a piece sticking in like that. But since I'm not doing all that, now you just have this dumb blue peg sticking out in the breeze, so I might swap it out for a too long pin in the future. Although, then again, this is covering up... I don't know. I'm gonna leave it this way. If I don't like it, I can come back and add those later. That's the logic I'm going on. Right, so this element goes on... Yeah, goes on the right side. So... Oh wait, did I... Oh, oops. I was supposed to add some pins. When did those pins were added? Oh, on this page. When I added the pins to the end of the arm, I was also supposed to add pins there. Oopsies! Not a huge issue. Sorry, folks. Come on. Come on, off. You know what? That's easier. Alright, so... Okay, the pins just stick in. And then I need to do the same on the other side. There we go. Alright, and so yeah, this will definitely add a lot more structure to the structure. Just push those back. Snap, snap. In you go. And then 1 and 2. And now, yeah, now the arm is rigidly locked to the turntable. And now I just need to repeat the process on the other side. Skipping ahead a few steps, back to where I was. So yeah, same dealio as the other side. Simple pin there, and then 1 and 2. Alright, and then attach this like so, and then pop it in, and there we go. And yeah, now this arm is very well attached to the turntable. Yeah, I guess having those panels there would hide that central core element, which, I guess, you know, but honestly, I don't really care. Again, I kind of like the hollow, like, skeleton look that this is going with. I might, actually, I'm wondering, is this just gonna be another panel? There's no good photos of the back of the machine, like official Lego. So I don't know what the machine looks like from the back. Okay, so okay, so there is a structural beam going across, like so. Again, I'll probably replace those blue pigs with 2 long black pigs sooner than later, but well, at some point I'll get around to it. But for right now, we're doing yet another subassembly. I do not recommend Lego drinking game if you're taking a shot. Oh, curious. We're putting a bushing on, but only the very tip. Yeah. Again, I appreciate these one-to-one drawings. They're nice. Okay. Mounting that onto the back here. Oh, okay. I'm like, am I missing a pin down here? It feels like there should be one. Okay, no, it comes up in just a moment. There we go. And then that just slides in like so. And that joins all that together. Bada bing, bada boom. Sticks out a bit, but I guess that's by design. Okay, that's... The only thing that makes me happier than gears that spin on multiple axes. That is lovely. Yeah, no, I am really happy with this set so far. It's looking lovely. Right, moving along. And now we add a pointer with one of these claw elements, or what do they call them? Like Baraki eyes, I think. I think of them as like a tooth or a claw, but yeah, now it's in pearl gold, which bling, that is beautiful. That's lovely. And then this just sticks in like so. And just points downwards, which, yeah, nothing really to prevent that like getting bent out of shape, so it sort of vaguely points in the general direction of the month it is. But yeah. Yeah, I guess one slight issue is, at least from the promotional art, like you can very barely see the needle on the back, but this roller, especially the fact that it's gold, it's like, it kind of draws the eye. Like, do you read the month like this, or do you read the month like that? It turns out it's this way. Like, this is supposed to be the month you're looking at, not this front one. But the fact that they both share the same ring, it's maybe a little confusing. And now we're building the sun. Alright, just gather some hydrogen. Alright. Let's see. Ah, I see. That's what these yellow pins are for. So they are hidden and are less obvious on the sun, which... Okay. Are these new to this set, or is this... They just happen to have them lying around and they just happen to work for this particular set? I don't know, but... I don't care. Having these in yellow... Charming. Not what I would consider terribly useful. Like, pins tend to get fairly buried in a model anyways. You don't really see them when it's fully assembled, at least not very much. So, but yeah, I guess having them in yellow doesn't hurt. Alright, and the other hemisphere goes together. And there we go. I guess one nitpick is because they are frictionless pins. Yeah, very noisy sun, very rattly. Rattly sun. But okay. And then the sun, it just simply got to move the camera up a bit. Plugs into the top like so. And there we have it. And now as I turn, hey, the sun rotates as the arm swings round, which yeah, that is freaking sweet. That is freaking sweet. I love it. And these axles rotate as well. Get maybe a zoom up on the internals. Yeah, that is really cool. So yeah, that set of gears is driven by that center axle, and then the lower axle or lower shaft here is driven essentially based on the difference between the stationary base and the rotating turntable. And so they managed to essentially create 3-in-1 axles, like 3 concentric axles. You have the centermost axle, which drives a 20-tooth gear in here. You have a middle stationary axle in the form of this element here and then the red element just below it. Like, that is structurally mounted to the base, but it's stationary. And then you have, in essence, a third axle in the form of the turntable platter, the frame, and then the arm. And all of these are like, yeah, coaxial. That is so brilliant. I love it. That is crazy engineering that they managed to pull that off and have it just work. Like, wow. I'm thoroughly impressed by the way this has turned out so far. We haven't done Earth and Moon yet. That's still to come, but yeah, really pleased by this project thus far. I know I haven't did that many anecdotes this time around, but whatever. Alright, and then next time we have final bag 4, and then Earth, and the ring, and all that good stuff. But yeah, we'll save that for next time. Ugh, I'm getting tired. And yeah, I'll save that for next time. You take care, folks. Have a good one, and yeah, catch you next time. Bye-bye.